What's up, everybody? Who am I kidding? I'm not Peter McKinnon. I'm Gaius Thompson. What's going on, everybody? How are you doing? If you are new here, I'm predominantly a gymnast, if you don't know that. I also do videography, photography, and everything in that juicy genre. So I said in the last video, if you guys want to see more stuff on cameras, slap it down in the comment section below. And you did. A lot of you said yes, which I'm quite pleased about because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. We're going to talk about today what is in my camera bag. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here, but okay, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Not as much as a lot of people, but seeing as I do this as a profession, we do have a fair amount of gear to go over. I'm gonna start with the basics. First thing on our list, because it is the thing that I literally use pretty much every single day, is a Joby Gorilla Pod. I have used these for about 3 to 4 years. This one has actually lasted me. Brilliant piece of kit. So I don't actually deal with lighting a lot because the events that I'm at are all professionally lit. Thankfully at the moment, I just go there, do the bit on the sports because they're all on Sky TV. So it's all perfectly lit. Don't need lights. However, I do own a light that I use a lot when we're doing these sit down talks. You don't notice them, that's the idea. They're very, very subtle. This is the light I use. This light right here. This light is called the Aperture Amaran. It is the ALH198, I believe. It's pretty cool. It comes with these filters. You just pop them off and then you've got a white light. And then you slap it back on. It's a bit fiddly. And you have a nice, soft, warm light. This is what I use over in the corner. It's very subtle. You can adjust the brightness of it. It's quite bright, and then you can really dim it down, and it's near enough nothing. What I like to do is place it over here. You guys can't see it. That's the idea, and it just adds a tiny, itty weeny, teeny weeny bit of soft light to me. The next item are something very, very essential that I have broken many of and tried many different brands, and these are the only ones that work consistently and don't seem to break unless your dog eats them, because that has happened to me recently. So, memory card readers. So, I have 2 of them. Well, I actually have 3 because my dog ate one of them. That doesn't work anymore. And I now have 2. I've had problems with other memory card readers in the past where I've actually been on a shoot in Vegas and it just stopped. These didn't stop working, but the budget one that I bought completely stopped working and I was a little bit screwed. Thankfully, I had this as a backup and it has gone through the ringer. It works all the time and they're never a problem. The reason I have 2 is in case I lose one, because I lose a lot of stuff and I'm very unlucky like that. If you want to get them on Amazon, they're fairly cheap on Amazon. They're about £16. I think I got this one on Prime Day and I bought this one from the Apple store and it was a considerable amount more. Don't buy it from Apple. So you have all these memory cards, but you have nowhere to save them to. You don't really want to save them to your laptop because that's just silly and will take up room. So what do? You buy yourself a Samsung T5 SSD. This is the best thing that I have ever bought. I have hard drives as well. I don't use them as much anymore. I only use them as a desktop item, pretty much. I take this everywhere with me on every shoot. It is fast, it is amazing, and it is tiny. This one is 500 gig, it gets me through. I put all my Final Cut libraries, all my projects on this, and then I back it all up to my much bigger drives that are hard drives. And this is of course USB-C because I own a MacBook Pro with USB-C. We're not going to get into that. USB-C is tough, but it is quick. So for the part that probably everybody has been waiting for, what lenses do I use? Because that is the most common thing that a videographer gets. What lenses do you use? What gear do you have? Very simple. I'm quite minimalistic with my stuff. This is the first lens that I ever bought. It is a Sigma 30mm 1.4. It is quite cheap. It is a budget lens. It was about £350, I think, when I bought it. This is the first ever f1.4 lens I ever owned. The only thing I owned before that was an f4. This lens is an APS-C lens, but my God, is it incredible. I don't know what it is, but the bokeh on it and the color, the general color of it, I literally find it amazing. I use it on so often. It is probably the most used lens that I have for photos, video. It's incredible. Only downside to it is the focus ring. Just I don't even know. It's really smooth, but like when you actually try and use it, just doesn't really work that well. Sigma 30mm f1.4, brilliant budget lens. The next lens we are talking about is one that I have now come to use quite a bit. It is the Sony 50mm f1.8, probably one of their cheapest lenses I think that they own. It is a full frame lens, 1.8. I don't know, you know, what more could you ask for? This lens is £180 or something crazy like that. It is so cheap. It is quite light as well. It's very, very small, as you can see. It is it's you know, it's tiny and it gets the job done. Autofocus on this, again, not amazing. It's a lot of noise, but when I'm shooting at an event, I literally never use autofocus now anyway. I use manual focus, and the manual focus on this is really, really good. It's very nice, it's very easy. It's not a wired focus, which is a little bit easier. I prefer it anyway, and it's just a really nice lens. Now, we're gonna talk about the most expensive lens that I've ever bought. I was not keen on spending this much money on a lens, but it had to be done. It is essential for what I do and I really, really need it. Of course, that is the most recent lens that I've purchased, which is this, the Sony 70-200G. This thing is a freaking beast. It's freaking expensive. This cost me over £1,000 for this lens. However, it's one of those lenses that I've been putting off and putting off and putting off, but I need it. When you do sport, you can't get that close, especially when there's TV cameras about. You are not allowed anywhere near the players because obviously TV don't want to see you, the cameraman. So what do? You have to get a nice zoom lens. And what did I do? I got a nice zoom lens. It's an f4, pretty fast. It's a nice lens. Autofocus is incredible on this. Bokeh is very, very nice at 200mm. It has all your switches. You've got your autofocus switch, your focus distance switches, optical steady shot. This thing is amazing. I can actually hand hold it as well because it is actually super small, very, very light. I love this lens. It's not practical for everyday use. It is very much a business lens. I need this for business, but I do love it. It's just, look at that. It's just a monster. I couldn't really justify spending £2,000 on the G Master. I just couldn't do it. That would just break the bank. The last shoot that I did for Matchroom, this was literally the only lens that I pretty much used the whole time for shooting the players. The only other lens that I use is the one that is on this camera right now, the Sony Zeiss 16-70mm. It's a really, really nice lens. The autofocus is very, very good on it. It tracks my face. It is an f4. It's quite expensive. It's in the range of about £800, but it is beautiful. It is a really, really nice lens. If you're looking to buy a vlogging lens, this is a very, very good lens. It is a crop lens, but I use it on my full frame cameras as I don't really care for that full frame look too much at the moment. I use this lens predominantly for trophy shots. Pretty much use this lens for the whole video that I just produced of Max on pommel. It's just amazing. Colors are really nice and it's got a great focal length. Next thing in my camera bag is the thing that we are currently filming on right now, which is the Sony a6500. I bought this camera nearly 2 years ago now, and I've been fairly hard on it, and it is still lasting me. It's still an incredible camera. It got me into loving slow-mo. It got me into loving vlogging. It's a really small package. It's got me to where I am today. Without this camera and without, you know, making the step of buying a more expensive camera, I wouldn't be where I am today. So this camera is incredible. I love it. It's nice and small, and it, you know, you wouldn't know that it was this small of a camera. The newest addition to my camera addiction is the Sony a7 Mark III. I got this camera recently and I love it. I loved it even before I had it. I knew the specs. Sony were kind enough to lend me one for a little bit when I first started collaborating and doing things with them and becoming an ambassador and stuff. They lent me that for about a week with a bunch of lenses, and as soon as I got my hands on the camera I was like, damn, I need one of those, I need one. But I couldn't really justify the upgrade because I was only shooting vlogs and it just didn't really make a lot of sense to buy an extra camera for this camera's around the £17,000 mark. I just couldn't justify that at the time. I didn't need to upgrade. There was no real reason for me to. I hadn't got a profession in it. It was just purely a hobby for me. And then this year came around and I went to Vegas, and I went to Vegas again, and I did 2 more events when I came back from Vegas for Matchroom, and it became apparent that I actually definitely needed a second camera, because before this Sony had lent me a Sony a7S Mark II, and I had that camera from the start of the year for the money shot. They lent me the cameras, they lent me the lenses to go and do the money shot, and they said, you know what, we don't need the a7S Mark II back for a while, so you can keep it, mate. Just keep it as long as you want until we basically say we kind of need it back. As it happened, when they wanted the camera back and they needed it back for a photo event, I actually needed it that weekend because I was shooting a video for Matchroom, and I had to shoot my whole weekend on one camera. Now, for the people out there who do this as a profession as well, you know it's kind of stressful when you only have one body, and it did stress me out that I only had one camera and about 8 batteries on this camera. It did the job, it got me through it, but that really started to make me think like, no, I need an extra camera, so I got one, and I haven't regretted it. This is amazing. I use it every day as well as I use this every day. I take both cameras with me everywhere. I shoot all my photos on this now. The Sony a6500 is now my backup in case anything happens to this. The battery life on this is incredible. The 4K is incredible. It's full frame. It does 120 frames a second at 1080p at a very, very nice bit rate. For you who don't know bit rate, it means there's more information, I can do more to the picture. It's a beast, but it's an affordable beast, and that's what I love about it. Last bit of kit we're going to talk about is something that I bought recently again, sort of because I had to, sort of because I wanted to, because I wanted to update this, is a gimbal. This is the Weeble Lab, and it's very small. You take it all apart and this is, oh my toe. You take it all apart and it is very, very small. So in order to actually make this quick, you have to buy these quick release plates, which you just go thump and it's in. I made the mistake of only buying one at the time, and the reason you need two is so that you can whack it on the top there and you can go thump and then thump like that, and then you've got both of them and you're very, very quick and it's very tidy and it's nice and easy to switch from that. So that's been it. I'm not going to show you the bag I have because a camera bag is probably the least interesting thing ever, and my camera bag is quite small. It's not interesting. Camera bags are stressful. So I hope you've enjoyed this little insight into what I have in my camera bag and what I use for all my jobs that I do. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's very different to what I'm used to, but I'm quite excited to see your guys' reaction and what you think of the video. If you liked it, guys, please make sure to leave a like rating, leave a comment as well. I'd really appreciate that. YouTube's algorithm doesn't really care much for the small YouTubers at the moment, but if you guys make a big impact, I will appreciate that a lot. So click that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. You guys know what to do. Make every day count and enjoy life. Peace. I don't actually know what my next piece of kit is. It is called the Aperture Amran. It is called the Aperture Amaran. Damn it. It's called the Aperture Amaran AL198. No. This light is called the Aperture. Oh my god, I can't remember. This light is called the Aperture. And you slap it back on, and then you slap it back on. Oh my god, I can't do it. And then you slap it back on. 400, I bought this camera. My batteries just blew up.